Welcome back to 101 Tips for Interviewers and Interrogators. I'm your host, Stan Walters, and in Tip 26, we're going to talk about the logistics of recording your interviews. Welcome back to our 101 Tips for Interviewers and Interrogators. And in this tip number 26, I want to discuss the logistics of about recording of your interviews. And there's three things I want to focus on. Number one, think about when you should start your recording. My recommendation, you start from the very beginning. From the first moment you get contact with the subject, get that camera on. Now, if they don't want it on or wave it, that's fine. I get that. But start right away. Make sure you catch the Miranda and all the follow-up of the conversations beyond that. Now, the reason we're doing this, the question might be if you only record after the interview is completed and then you record the confession, the challenge might come forward, what was going on when the camera was off? What were you saying? What was done? Were there any threats that got the subject to this point that they're willing to talk? With that body of work from the beginning, you can prove that there was no coercion, there was an ethically conducted interview, that information was gained without coercion, without manipulation from the subject. Now, one of the things you want to focus on when recording, spend the greater amount of your money on the sound. Video, you can work back and forth with, you can make with, but you cannot sacrifice on the quality of sound. Put your efforts and money in that sound section to make sure that you got a good income. Now, it could be a remote mic. A body mic's kind of hard to do with the subject move around. You get movement of clothing, that type of stuff. So put the effort in that part of it. Okay. When you're making recordings, for example, let's say you're interviewing 2 or 3 witnesses. Keep the recordings separate. Don't append them one to another. For example, in the same medium, whether it's a disc or a CD or whatever, make sure they're separate files and keep them separated. I would even separate them on the discs. Now, there's several reasons for this, kind of looking ahead. Should a disc go bad and you have all your recordings on it, or should a thumb drive go bad, or should a hard drive go bad, at least you won't lose them all in one shot. And I would immediately, as soon as you make a recording, put that into separate files, each of those discs, and copy those bad boys and seal them up as evidence to keep them separated from each other. So make sure you do it. Now, do the same thing with the subject. Let's assume you get a good statement from the subject in the interview room. You get great detail, you get admission, you get information. When you finish that recording, let's say you go back to the crime scene, you do a subsequent interview, you do an interview in a separate location and an extended period of time. Separate those interviews also on separate CDs or DVDs, no matter the medium you're going to store them on. Again, should those be challenged, you don't want them on the same medium. I'm just looking ahead. What could go wrong? So if they might remove one and not allow it, you don't run the risk of losing the second because it's on the same medium, the accidental discovery type of thing. So separate those. When you do these recordings, make sure you got the Miranda on each one. For example, if you go back after the scene later, or for a follow-on interview, re-Mirandize, even though it may be the same day, Mirandize them again on that tape, on that recording. Tape tells you how long I'm working for, right? You know, don't worry about this. Electrons are cheap. CDs and DVDs are cheap. Don't go cheap on it and try to jam them all together. Keep them separated so that you don't have the risk of losing one or the other because of technology or because of legal issues. Okay? So think about the technology of when and the logistics of doing it. We want to document we're doing good interviews and that they're ethical and great information, and to support that. And down the road, I'm a big advocate of recording. Should those be challenged later, you can always bring those back in. Some of the time we'll talk about equipment and little options that you can use, but think about the interview process itself and how you're recording it. Recording from the very beginning. Now, if you put in breaks, let's say you give the subject a break, all right? If you turn the camera off for a period of time to save it or to change a battery, etc. When you come back on, make the note. We took X number of minutes approximately for break. We went to a bathroom break. We had a cigarette break. We fed the subject. The subject got some rest. We're resuming it. We had to replace a battery. And document that also on the tape so you don't lose that. Okay, so you want to make sure that that detail is noted, that the subject was compliant. There's nothing untoward going on in between, and it also documents that you weren't in a very highly coercive area, highly coercive process. So think about the logistics. Thanks for joining us on the episode. Please subscribe. And do me a favor, please pass along some other folks. I'm starting to get some friends here from National Speakers Association and other experts and other interviewers beginning to pass this around. I want you to join that group. Make sure you get this out to other folks so that they can go back and look at the past episodes and subscribe and catch the new episodes. So you're more than welcome to pass this around, get it to other folks and information. Facebook, look at the Lie Guy blog, website, thelieguy.com, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, connect with me. See you again next time when we cover tip number 27. Be safe. Hey, thanks for joining us again on the 101 Tips, Interviewers, and Interrogators. Now, if this is your first visit, please hit the subscribe button so you can keep track of all the past recordings and the new tips that are coming out each week. Now, learn more information about tools that you can use for improving your skills, or take some on-demand training courses, or if you'd like to talk about hosting a class, let's talk. Visit me at thelieguy.com and find out more about how you can improve your interviewing skills. See you again soon.